Well, thank you. Let me join my colleagues in saying I appreciate the incredible spirit that has been displayed in these negotiations leading to these statement of principles. And from what I clearly sense after someone who has worked on this for years, both in the House when I was there and in the Senate, I am the most optimistic I have been in quite some time, and I'm not Pollyannish about that at all. I recognize there are difficult challenges ahead, but I just get the sense of a spirit and a commitment that is far beyond what I've seen in some time. And the American people support this. In poll after poll, when you take the elements of our principles, they have said this is what we want to see in reform of a broken system. And there is a reason for that. If I want to secure the nation, I cannot secure the nation unless I know who is here to pursue the American dream versus who might be here to do it harm. And if I have millions of peoples in the shadows without coming forth and registering with the government, I don't know what their ultimate purpose is here. So when we talk about the nation's security, reform is necessary for security, as it is for the elements of our principles as it relates to enhancing what we've already done in further border security. When I talk about the nation's economy, reform is critical to the nation's economy. The reality is that even in a very tight economy, there are all types of industries in our country which have used the work of immigrants every day to achieve the economic goals of those industries. If you got up this morning and had fruits for breakfast, it was probably picked by the bent back of an immigrant worker. If you, in fact, had vegetables for a chicken for lunch, you probably had it depulucked by the hands, the cut-up hands of an immigrant worker. If you slept in a hotel or motel of the nation, you probably had your room done by an immigrant worker. If you are looking at some of the cutting-edge technologies in our country, you probably saw the ability of making America a more prosperous, competitive place in the world by the intellect of an immigrant worker. So in so many dimensions, this is about the economy of our nation as well. And finally, two elements of this that I think are incredibly important within all the principles which I support is the fact that we have seen in other countries in the world where there is no pathway to citizenship that there is instability. The reality is that this will be an arduous pathway, but it will be a fair one. It will be one in which those who have come to this country to achieve the American dream will come forth, must register with the government or they'll lose their opportunities, will have to go through a criminal background check, will have to pay any previous taxes they did not pay, although many do pay through taxpayer ID numbers or a Social Security number, but nonetheless, they will have to pay anything they didn't pay before. They will have to, for the first time in U.S. history, learn English to be able to even become a permanent resident. We require that for U.S. citizenship. We have never required that for permanent resident. It is a higher standard. So those are some of the elements of a more arduous path, but a real opportunity at the end of the day. And lastly, as someone who is a big advocate of making sure that our economy is strong as a result of immigration reform, but also that we preserve a core value of our society and our history in immigration law, which is family reunification. And how do we do that in a way that is smart and that promotes legal immigration versus that has families divided for so long and then pressures them to make choices about how do they become reunified? I believe we can take care of all of those issues.